Hey, what's up? John Zalmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. So I thought I'd do a video today, just finish my workout. And I talked about this topic once before. I think I might even have a video on it. But I thought I'd revisit this again because I was coaching a couple of people the other day and this topic came up, especially when you get down to really low body fat percentage or you've been dieting for a long time. And it becomes really difficult, right? It becomes really difficult to hold the line. You can check out the video on holding the line there, but it becomes difficult to stick to the plan. And you get to this point where you're just kind of sick of it and you don't want to keep on going. You don't want to, and you know, you feel like you want to cheat. You feel like you want to go and indulge a little bit and give it all up, and you forget what your goal was, what your focus was. I feel like it's not worth it anymore. And so there's a strategy that I employ whenever that happens, and I call it the going the other way strategy. So the basic idea is this. So let's say that you're on your diet and you're thinking, all right, I want to go, there's a birthday cake, you know, my friend's birthday, I'm just gonna have a little piece of that. Instead of indulging, instead of going and giving into temptation, what I want you to do is I want you to go the opposite direction, the opposite way, and you go for a run, or you fast that meal completely, or you eat something super healthy instead of what you're normally planning, or you cut your calories, or you go to the gym and you lift weights. You do something more productive, the opposite direction. And there's a good reason for doing this. One of the main reasons for doing this is because it changes the psychology, right? So when you're at the point where you want to give in, or you want to give in to something, if you resist the temptation to give in to something, it's not a super boost, it's not a super ego boost, it's not a super, you know, pat on the back. It doesn't have a reward system built in. You've only sustained. You've only not done something. In fact, you might even feel bad about yourself because you almost gave in, or you partially gave in. You're not going to feel great about yourself, right? So it's not a reinforcing behavior. And what we want to do, I mean, we're just kind of like animals in this way, that we need to reinforce positive behaviors in order to make them stick. So what you want to do instead is you want to go the opposite direction. And so in that case, when you avoid that birthday cake and you go to the gym instead, or you go for a run, or you eat a super healthy meal, you do something productive, right? Instead, you go and produce something, or do something that you're supposed to do, something good, right? Something above and beyond. You not only have resisted the temptation and taken your mind off of it, but you've done something that you can be happy about and reward yourself about and feel good about, and you have set up a buffer for the future almost, right? Because you've now changed it, and what you're doing is I'm tricking you into setting up a habit loop. So what I want you to do is to develop the habit of going the other way. And when you have this habit, what ends up happening is, when you're triggered by temptation, instead of giving into that temptation, you do something good, you do something positive, right? When you feel hungry, you go for a run instead. You know, this has profound impacts on your life if you can do this. Now, I will be the first one to admit that I do not always practice this myself. I fall and I find myself not doing this, and I say, wait a minute, John, what did you forget about going the other way? Did you forget about this philosophy? Because this philosophy is so important in life. And you know, this doesn't apply just to dieting. It doesn't just apply to, you know, not eating that piece of chocolate cake. It applies to everything. It applies to when you don't feel like doing your work, and so you do extra work, right? Or you go above and beyond when you feel tired and you don't feel like getting up, so you wake up half an hour earlier, right? You know, it applies to when you don't feel motivated to do something, but you push yourself to give it a 9 or a 10. Watch the video on giving a 9 or a 10, always giving a 9 or a 10. But this is very powerful. So this is one of those things, like I said, it's really going to help you out, especially when it gets tough. When you got motivation, when things are not tough, it's much easier to do the right thing. It's much easier to resist the temptation. But as you progress, as you get down far, as you progress down the path, as you're near the finish line, like Odysseus, you know, seeing the shore, as that shore is in view, as the finish line is there, you're more likely to stumble. That's where you fall. That's where you trip, right? That's why I did this video on finishing strong. You can check that one out, and that's what I'm talking about there. But this is the key strategy to finishing strong, is to preventing that fall, is by going the other way, not giving in, and not just resisting the temptation, but instead going the opposite direction, of where you would fall, and you rise up instead. This strategy, I promise you, if you implement this in your life, is going to give you just phenomenal results. It's going to have a profound impact. Imagine if every time that you made a mistake, or even 50% of the time that you were going to make a mistake, instead you did something above and beyond the call of duty. Imagine how much further you'd be in all the endeavors that you pursue in life. Again, little trick that I employ as much as possible. I'm not perfect. I don't do it all the time, but when I remember to do this, it makes a huge impact, and it can get you right out of that funk of not feeling motivated, because now instead of you just resisting, which eats up your willpower, which wears you down, which makes you feel tired, you're conquering. Victory gives you energy, gives you fuel. Just resisting, you eventually get worn down. Remember that. So when in doubt, when being worn down, when feeling the wind blowing against you, drive into it, push into it, search for victory, and you will be triumphant. If you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button below. I will talk to you next time. Take care.